one study guide. And like I said, I'm just going over certain problems on here. I'm not going to do all of them. First thing, before we do that, let's go through and edit some of these first. So, problems that you won't need. Scroll down. Number 6. Just scratch through that. We're not doing that one. Number 7 on the back. Scratch through that. We're not doing that one. And then from there on, we need to renumber so it'll match up with your study guide on Desmos. So number 8 over here, I'm gonna scratch through this number. I'm gonna write a 7. This should be number 7. Okay. Number 9, scratching through that, that should be number 8. And also on number 9, this question isn't going to match the question on Desmos. So for number 8, the one that we just numbered, number 8, use the question on Desmos, not the question on paper. The graph is the same, it's just the question is different. And honestly, at a certain point, I'm gonna do this problem anyway, so you'll have it. But just understanding the question matches on Desmos. Number 10 is down here. We need to change that to number 9. Number 10 is really number 9. Number 11 is really number 10. And number 12 is obviously really number 11. Those questions are all the same though, no edit on the questions. Alright. So once you make those edits, we should be good. This is going to take me even shorter than the last video because I scratched out 2 of the ones that I did that I shouldn't have done. Alright. The first one, I'm going back, I'm going to do that one with you. This is not a hard problem, but I think a lot of y'all are trying to avoid a problem like this just because it's a word problem. But if you read it, you should understand it's pretty simple to do. It says, Michael and Dennis live in separate cities, and one day they decide to meet up for lunch because they both wanted to travel as little as possible. They decide to meet at the halfway point between their homes. If Michael's position can be given as 3,100, 500, and Dennis's position by 5,120, 125, what are the coordinates that represent the place that they should meet? Let me ask the question. Hold on. Record. Alright. Like Naisa said, we should be using midpoint because the word that indicates that is the word halfway. Anytime you see halfway or something like that, they want to know the midpoint. So midpoint formula, M equals x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And then I need to label x1, y1, x2, y2. Pull in my numbers. M equals parentheses 3,100 plus 5,120 over 2, comma, 500 plus 125 over 2. Y'all get intimidated because the numbers are big, but it's the same thing we've been doing. I add those together, I get those 2 numbers, and then obviously I'm going to divide by 2. So I get 4,110 when I divide by 2, and then I get 312.5. That's my coordinates of the midpoint. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Should all know how to do that. Number 2, it says if the midpoint of ML, which is a segment, is K, And MK is 10x plus 5, and LK is 5x plus 20. What is the length of ML? So on this problem, and this is why I told y'all it was important when we did our scavenger hunt, the first thing you want to do is draw out your segment so you can see the situation for yourself. Segment, they called it ML. They said the midpoint, I'm going to try to get the middle, not close to it, was K. And then from there they said M to K was 10x plus 5. Then they said LK was 5x plus 20. Now, due to the fact that they call K a midpoint, I should also know I can put my congruent markings here and here. Then from there, they want to know what is the length of ML. So to find the length of ML, I first must solve and find the value of x. Let me ask. Hold on, let me pause. Alright, so this will be our equation. 10x plus 5 equals 5x plus 20. And then we solve. I'm going to do this quick because this should be easier for everybody. Oops, big minus sign. 5x 15. Now I did this problem with everybody last period, same way I did with y'all, but for some reason we get to the Desmos and kids still answering this wrong, partly because they weren't paying attention to the video. And the issue is y'all not reading. A lot of kids give me this as the answer. I hope you know this is not the answer. The question asks you what is the length of ML. They didn't ask you what the value of x was. You guarantee you need that, yes, but they want to know ML. And on this one, if you draw it out, you'll see that ML is the full thing. So for the full thing, you need to plug in on both sides. Now, some of y'all may know that when you plug in on one side, you're going to get the same thing that you're going to get over here. But some of y'all may not know that. So if you don't know that, you might as well just plug in on both and just work it all the way out. You know, since this is midpoint, these two have to be congruent. So whatever I plug in on one side, it has to be my answer for the other. But I'm going to do both just to be good. Now, this is another thing I didn't tell the last period, but they asked us for ML on this one, but sometimes they'll just ask us for MK or KL, and you just have to plug in once. But on this one, they want ML, so we need the whole thing. I just need y'all to pay attention to that, too. I don't want y'all to think, some of y'all think when I show y'all one thing, that's how you do everything. No, you have to read and do what they're asking you to do. So I'm doing 10 times 3 plus 5 for the first side. Second side, I'm doing 5 times 3 plus 20. 10 times 3 is 30 plus 5, 35. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 20 is 35. You get 35 and 35, so ML equals 35 plus 35, which equals 70. So that's number 2. I'm not doing number 3 because if you read number 3 reads exactly the same. It's just different letters and different numbers. So you have an example on how to do number 3 right there. I'm looking at number 2. And that's the thing that amazed me too. Once we got the Desmos, I gave y'all number 2 with a blueprint. And I still had kids getting number 3 wrong. I don't get it. I really don't. Hopefully y'all help me figure it out. I don't get it though. Number 4. I'm not going to do this one with you. All I'm going to do is graph. Make sure your graph is right. So it says graph the figure in the coordinate plane and find the perimeter around to the nearest hundredths. On the coordinate plane, they said A is at 2,8. So that's my point A. Said B is at 2,5. Point B. Then they said C is at 6, 5, point C. Then they said D is at 8, 10. 8 up 10, all the way over here. This is my point D. Don't have a ruler, so I'm going to try to draw my line straight. Not my best, but not my worst either. Alright, so once you graph your figure, I got my points labeled. Let me make my points bigger. Yeah. Got my points labeled. They want me to find the perimeter of this figure. Easiest thing for you to do is understand that two of the sides you don't have to count first. AB and BC are on there straight. You do have to. You could just count. Don't have to count. You could just count two of the sides, AB, and then what is it? BC. So you could just say AB equals, then BC equals. The two sides that you have to find are going to be CD, and then DA or AD, whichever way you look at it. Now, for those two, you can choose to use Pythagorean, like I would, or you can do distance formula, because the coordinates are up here. But you have to do distance from C to D, and then distance from D to A. So it's really up to you how you want to handle the other two. Only thing you need to understand is round to the nearest hundreds at the end. So add all four of your sides up, you'll have the perimeter. Two of the sides, once again, you can count AB and BC. I can just count those. I don't have to do no work on that. Alright, moving on. Number 5. On this one, it says on the coordinate grid, the line segment AB has endpoints of B, -1, 1. The midpoint of AB is M, which is at 1, 4. What is the x coordinate of point A? So I'm gonna draw this segment out for myself. Excuse me. We call it segment AB. AB. Then they said the midpoint was M. And they gave me stuff too. They said B was at -1, 1. They said my midpoint was at 1, 4. So they want me to find the x coordinate of A. So I need to find point A, which is the end point, and I need to find the x coordinate of it. So I might as well find the whole thing and just tell them what x is at the end. Right. On this one, this is an endpoint problem. Everybody should recognize it as that too. So I'm gonna do that setup I showed y'all, which I think is the easiest way. Not the only way, but the easiest way to do it. Put my parentheses in. And then so B was at -1, 1. M was at 1, 4. And now I'm about to find my change in x and change in y. Change in x was from -1 to +1. So we're in the positive direction, so that's a plus. How many spaces? From -1 to +1 is 2 spaces. So that's a change in x is plus 2. My change in y was from 1 to 4. It's a positive change as well. Went from 1 to 4. So plus, and then 1 to 4 is 3 spaces. So I got +2 on this side, +3 on this side. So I just need to apply that same thing to M to get A. One plus 2, obviously 3. 4 plus 3, 7. So that's my coordinates for A. They asked me what the x coordinate of point A was. So out to the side here, I'm going to say x equals 3. Easy work. Like I said, number 6, we deleted that, so don't worry about that. On the back, I'm only doing 2 more. I honestly did a lot for you. On the back, number 7, well, our new number 7, says list 3 undefined terms. Now, I've talked about this since the beginning of this unit. I said these terms were terms that we can't measure, we can't find a size or shape for, we can't find the length of it, we can't find the width of it. We couldn't measure them at all. There were 3 terms I talked about that were undefined. So, thank you too for volunteering. Yeah, 3 undefined terms: a point, a line, and a plane. And that was the name of our first set of notes for this unit, if you remember. Alright, so number 8. Well, number 8, and I'm not reading this verbatim, so I'm not looking at the question, although I can look at the question. Let me read it verbatim. So, number 8, on your actual Desmos, this one reads, on Monday, John walked from Colton to Saddlebrook, and then to Riverton. Turn your mic off. So on Monday, he went from Colton to Saddlebrook and then to Riverton. On Tuesday, he went from Colton to Newton to Riverton. This is how much further did he walk Monday compared to Tuesday. Alright. So a couple things you need to notice before you start on this one. Well, we should have talked situation, but I'm going to talk situation. Situation is you need to find the first distance he walked, and he walked 2 different points. So 2 different places. So that's 2 line segments you got to find the length of and add them together. And that'll give you the Monday walk. Tuesday, he went from Colton to Newton to Riverton. So that's 2 different line segments. You got to find the length of. Thing you need to notice though is this graph. And a lot of people don't notice it. This graph is counting by 2s. This graph is not counting by 1. You need to pay attention on your graphs. I think you have one on your test that's going to count by 10s. You need to pay attention. This graph is counting by 2s. So when you get your when you do your counts, if you're going to do Pythagorean like I would, you need to pay attention to that. If you're going to do distance, you need to pay attention when you get your coordinates off of that. So for me, I'm going to do Pythagorean on this one. So I'm going to draw my triangles, but I'm going to show you how my counts are going to look. So first I'm going to make my line segments. So I'm going to do his Monday walk first. Say he went from Colton to Saddlebrook, and then he went to Saddlebrook to Riverton. Obviously this is the longer walk. What you want to find is the difference in distances. So after I get this walk on Monday and then I go back and do the Tuesday walk, I'm going to do a subtraction to figure out which distance was further or whatnot. Alright. So Monday I'm making my right triangles, and I'm going to do them up here because for the one down here I'm going to have to do my triangles on the bottom. So I don't want my triangles to mix up. Alright, so like I said, this thing is counting by 2s, so instead of counting by 1s, I'm going to count by 2s. Any half, I'm going to count as a 1. I'll show you that when we get there. But, so when I go up 1, I'm really saying 2, 4, 6. Because it went from 6 to 12 if you look at it. So this is 6 for me. Here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, so my count is 6 and 12 for that length. Might as well do my other triangle while I'm at it so I can just have both. Alright. And then I get 2, 4, 6. and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 6 and 10 right here. So over here in this space, and I'm a little limited, so I'm gonna try to write a little smaller and start a little further up. So this is Monday that I'm doing right now, and went Colton to Saddlebrook first. Colton to Saddlebrook was gonna be 6 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. 36 plus, what's 12 squared? 144 equals c squared. Need to add those together. I got a calculator. Let me use it. Clear. 144 plus 36 equals 180. C squared. And let me check real quick. They said, well, all your answers are whole numbers, so obviously you're gonna round to the nearest whole number. But we're gonna keep decimals for right now. Square root of 180 is gonna give me 13.4164. I'm gonna write out to there. Keep a decent sized decimal. I didn't write the whole thing, but I wrote out to there. Then I need to do Saddlebrook to Riverton. Saddlebrook to Riverton. It's gonna be 6 squared plus 10 squared equals c squared. Sorry for writing small, but I'm trying to save space, y'all. I didn't give a lot of space for this problem. 36 plus 100 equals c squared. That's 136. C squared, square root, square root. So in this, I'm taking the square root of 136. And I get 11.6619. And while I have this in the calculator, I might as well go ahead and add these two together so I can get the length of Monday. So I'm going to add to that one, I'm going to add my 13.4164 equals, and I get 25.078 something. Okay, I'm going to write that down. So Monday equals 25.0783. So that's the distance he walked on Monday. Then I need to calculate Tuesday after that. I'm gonna do Tuesday in another color, just to help y'all out. So Tuesday he went from Colton to Newton, much shorter trip. Let me just draw my lines first, I'll come back. Went Colton to Newton, and then from Newton to Riverton. Those are my lines in green there. I'm gonna do my triangles. I'll do them in blue. So I need a right triangle. This first right triangle is gonna be pretty small. So I'm at a halfway point right here. That's a small triangle, but it's there. That's my little right triangle. I ain't got enough room to put my little box in, but you'll see it. So the count on this one, since I'm going down a half from Colton to Newton, that vertical count will just be 1. Horizontal count, I'm still counting over 2, so 2, 4, 6, 8. So my count is 1 and 8. That's an 8 for everybody. And then I'm gonna do my other triangle while I'm at it. From here to here. My count here would be 1 and then a jump of 2, so that's 3. For this one, 3 and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah. So 3 and 10. Those are my counts. Alright. So now I'm about to do Pythagorean for those. This is Tuesday. And then we're going Colton to Newton first. So that's going to be 1 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. 1 plus 64 equals c squared. Get 65 equals c squared. Square root. Clear 65 square root. You're gonna get 8.06225. That'll be fine. Equals C. And then I gotta do Newton to Riverton. The reason I'm going through all this and showing you this one, there is one like this on the test where you have to compare and do subtraction. So, unless you don't want to get that one right. 9 plus 100 equals c squared. 109 equals c squared. Square root. Square root of 109. Clear 109. Take square roots. Get 10.4403 equals C. And then I can keep that in my calculator, and I'm gonna add the 8 to it, the 8.0. So plus 8.06225 equals, and here I get so it's Tuesday. I'm bad, I forgot what the right equals 18.5025556 something. Alright. So those are my numbers. And what you want to do after that, you want to subtract. And honestly, I mean, you can see it without even subtracting what it's close to. If you look at your answer choice, only one answer close to it, but you're gonna subtract anyway. So I'm gonna subtract 25 whatever from, subtract these two, minus this 0.0783 minus 18.5025556. And I get trying to figure out what to write it at. Let's write it down to the side. When I get that, when I subtract Monday from Tuesday, I get 6.5757 something, which is equivalent to, if you look at your answer choices, that whole number, not equivalent, but approximately 7. So the difference will be 7. Handwriting got a little wonky there at the end, sorry. That's a long one, but there is one like that on your test, I'm telling you. And you're gonna, it's probably gonna be the longest problem you do on the test, just because it's got you doing that much. You're finding distance 4 times. You're doing it twice, adding them together. Doing it twice for the other way you went, adding them together, and then you subtract them to find out the difference between the two. I said that'll be probably the hardest one you face on the test, but I mean, if you can get it right, that's points for you. And if you can get it right, that mean everything else should be gravy. So I wanted to show you that one. Everything else on the sheet you should be able to do. Number 9, we went over a problem like that like a couple times the other day on practice day 3. This is the one where, and it's similar to that home to park to school one we did on the practice sheet. You just need to read and figure out what distances you need to find on number 9. You don't need to find all 3 sides. You need to read and figure out what you need. On number 10, it's a word problem, but all it is endpoint. It's endpoint, just like I'm gonna do it out to the side here. This is an endpoint problem, just like we did number 5 on the front. It's just worded out a long way. If you read it, you should understand they're giving you a midpoint and they're giving you a endpoint, and they want you to find the other endpoint. Number 11, same situation. It's another endpoint problem if you read it. They said they give you the midpoint of JK, they tell you that right there, and then they give you an endpoint, and they tell you to find the coordinates of K. It's another endpoint problem. So you got 3 of them on the sheet. I already did one for you on the front, which was number 5, number 10, and 11. You need to do the same way. Alright. Other than that, y'all should go. I'll be here for support. Let me stop my video.